the teens as they learn about some popular beverages. Coffee, tea, or me, as the saying goes. Hey, we're missing Eleanor and Chandran, but I'm sure we'll find out where they are in due course. Let's zero in on the action.
This looks like a pigsty. I just don't understand why some people just can't keep this place clean. There's papers everywhere, street wrappers, and there's a still smell in the air. It's ridiculous. I'm always tidying up, but as soon as I leave, the next person messes it all up again. Come on, Farhan, lend me a hand with these newspapers. I think I'm going to take them to our Leo clubhouse so that they can sell them to the newspapermen.
Yeah.
Farhan, are you deaf? I said, will you help me with these old newspapers?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were talking to me. What do you want them for?
I just told you to send them for recycling. What's wrong with you? What are you reading that is so interesting?
Oh well, just some brochures I picked up at the coffee place just now. It's interesting. I never knew coffee beans were red in color.
Really? I thought they're dark brown.
No, look, the berries are red like cherries. And inside each berry, there are 2 beans each. They're actually green before roasting and dark brown after.
You're right. I guess I've never seen a coffee plant before.
And it says here, production of quality coffee is as complex and detailed as producing a world-class wine. There are many steps involved, and great care is required from start to finish.
I guess that's why they charged us so much just now. I couldn't believe a frappuccino cost 8 ringgit. This place looks like a pigsty. I just don't understand why some people just can't keep this place clean. There's papers everywhere, street wrappers, and there's a still smell in the air.
I just don't understand. Abbreviated form of I just do not understand. Can't keep the place clean. Abbreviated form of cannot keep the place clean. The apostrophe is used to abbreviate the word.
Come on, Farhan, lend me a hand with these newspapers. I think I'm going to take them to our Leo clubhouse so that they can sell them to the newspapermen.
Lend me a hand to help me.
Well, you girls were so good, spending time helping us out with our poems. The least we could do was take you out for a treat.
It's just too bad that Elena couldn't really enjoy it. She was pretty quiet the whole time, not her usual self.
Yeah, I noticed. She seemed quite down. Do you know what's the matter?
Well, I think she's worried about her grandmother. Her grandmother's had a fall, and I don't think it's doing so well.
Would that be her mother's mother or her father's mother?
Her maternal grandmother. She's pretty close to her. Elena told me she was old, about 70 years, and she was the one who took care of her when she was small.
Where does she live? Has Elena been to see her?
She lives in Kuching. One of Elena's aunts lives with her. If she doesn't improve, Elena and family will fly down to see her. That's why she's not here.
Oh, that explains it. I thought maybe that she had a fallout with you or Chandran.
It's just too bad that Elena couldn't really enjoy it. She was pretty quiet the whole time, not her usual self.
Pretty quiet. Very quiet. Here, pretty does not mean nice or good looking.
Her maternal grandmother. She's pretty close to her.
Maternal grandmother. Mother's mother, as opposed to paternal grandmother, which means father's mother.
Speaking of the devil, here he comes.
What? Me, devil? On the contrary side, can't you see the halo on my head?
What took you so long? You said you were just nipping in to look at the squash racket.
Yeah, but I bumped into my aunt, whom I haven't seen in ages. She's a distant aunt, and she was asking after everyone in the family. I couldn't get away.
You seem to have aunts and uncles coming out of your ears. How many do you have?
Well, my dad has 4 siblings in his family, and my mom is one of 8. So, you can imagine, when it's Deepavali, we really have a grand time, especially the kids.
Yes, it's always nice to have lots of people during a festival. My mom and dad come from medium-sized families, but we're very closely knit. And together with our second and third cousins, we managed to gather quite a big crowd during the New Year.
Oh yes, we normally go back to my mom's kampung on the second day of Raya. And then we get to meet long-lost relatives that we haven't seen for a long time. Some live here in KL, but we just never see them in the city.
I know what you mean. Everybody is so busy in the city, no one really has time to get together. Speaking of the devil, here he comes.
What? Me, devil? On the contrary side, can't you see the halo on my head?
What took you so long? You said you were just nipping in to look at the squash racket.
Speaking of the devil, said when someone you're talking about appears. Halo, a ray of light surrounding the head of a holy person. Nipping in, stopping for a short while.
Hey, where's Elena? Wasn't she with you?
She had to leave. She's got something on.
On her mind, you mean? I noticed she was extra quiet during our meal. I teased her about girls having to serve boys, and she didn't even respond. It's not like her.
Yes, under normal circumstances, you should bite your head off. Shall we tell him?
I don't know. Alina told me to keep it under my hat.
Keep what under your head?
That's exactly it. To keep something under your hat means to keep a secret. Which means that Jolie can't tell you why Elena's feeling down.
Come on, I can keep a secret. I figured something was wrong. It's not like Alina to be so withdrawn.
You? Remember the last time I told you about my dad giving me some dough for doing well in the exam? And you told it to all the boys at football?
No. Must have been someone else.
No, it was you, alright. It ended up that I had to take everyone to the mama store after practice and foot the bill.
Yes, I agree with Borhan. Chandran, you're lousy at keeping secrets. You're what I call a blabbermouth.
Oh, come on. I think if it's something that concerns Alina, we all should know it. We're her bosom buddies, right?
Well, I suppose Alina won't mind if it's just within these 4 walls. But if it ever leaks out, Chandran, we know who to hang.
Okay, I give you my scout's honor.
But you're not a scout.
Okay, then on Leeds United's honor. That's the football team I support.
Alina's worried about her grandmother. She's about 70 and had a fall. She may have broken her hip.
Oh wow, that's not good news. Poor Alina. She really looked like she was in another world all through the lunch.
I hope she doesn't have osteoporosis. That'll make it worse.
That's something to do with brittle bones, right?
Yes, it's to do with not taking enough calcium. Women suffer it more than men.
It's true. I'm not sure. But I'll call Alina as soon as I get back to find out the latest, and I'll let you guys know. Well, I want to take all these old newspapers to the Leo Club now. She had to leave. She's got something on.
Got something on. Got an appointment or activity. Got something on her mind. Is worried or troubled by something.
Yes, under normal circumstances, you should bite your head off. Shall we tell him?
Bite your head off. To speak angrily.
You remember the last time I told you about my dad giving me some dough for doing well in the exam? And you told it to all the boys at football?
Dough, slang for money.
It ended up that I had to take everyone to the mamak store after practice and foot the bill.
Foot the bill. Pay the bill.
I think if it's something that concerns Alina, we all should know it. We're her bosom buddies, right?
Bosom buddies. Close friends or pals.
Poor Alina. She really looked like she was in another world all through the lunch.
In another world. Dreaming or preoccupied with something.
Yeah, the world will please do the thing, okay? After this school tomorrow. So when you come tomorrow, you have to so the school project, they tell us to do the coffee thing. I have to do a tea one, you know. Okay, I've got some information here about tea, and you have those coffee brochures. So, which shall we do?
Let's see what you have here. Oh. Okay. Did you get the information from the net?
Yes, most of it. Also, my sister showed me how to do research from some other sources as well.
Like?
Well, we have this coffee table book on Sri Lanka, and they have quite a bit on tea growing.
Whoa, wait a minute. Did I hear correct? You have a coffee book that talks about tea?
No, a coffee table book, not a coffee book.
Coffee table book. Elaborate book on a specific subject with rich illustrations.
I've got some information here on tea plantations in Canberra Highlands. It says that the Bow tea plantation are owned by the English family, who have been here since the 1930s.
The English must have found the cool weather up in the highlands pleasant, unlike the muggy lowlands.
The tea leaf, just the young shoots, are picked by Indian women who throw them in a basket strapped to their backs.
I think we should do coffee. Most people seem to be quite familiar about this tea process. Isn't there a tour you can take around a factory or something?
You've got a point there. Most of the class won't know about coffee since it's grown in a big way in Malaysia. That way, they'll pay attention.
Well, they'll have to anyway. Mr. Wong said he would give us a quiz after all the teams had presented all their projects.
Okay, maybe we can start by giving a description of coffee syrup, how the cherries look.
Then, we can concentrate on the roasting process and how this really determines the flavor of the beans. The ideal roast turns the coffee a rich chestnut brown and gives it a lovely aroma.
And I think we should discuss some of the different ways coffee can be served, as in espresso, cafe latte, or cappuccino.
Yes, that's a good idea. It's always confusing when you walk into one of these coffee places and don't know what to order.
I don't know how some people can drink espresso. I tried it once. It was awful bitter.
I think it's something that grows on you. It's meant to aid digestion. That's why people take it after a meal. The English must have found the cool weather up in the highlands pleasant, unlike the muggy lowlands.
Muggy, warm and damp.
Well, they'll have to anyway. Mr. Wong said he would give us a quiz after all the teams had presented all their projects.
Quiz. A short test, oral or written.
And I think we should discuss some of the different ways coffee can be served, as in espresso, cafe latte, or cappuccino.
Espresso, cafe latte, cappuccino. These are different ways of serving coffee. Espresso is the brew that comes out of the espresso machine. Adding steamed milk and foamed milk will yield cafe latte. Cappuccino is espresso with steamed milk and a foamy cap on the top.
I think it's something that grows on you. It's meant to aid digestion. That's why people take it after a meal.
Something that grows on you. Something that you will like once you get used to it. Aid digestion. Make it easier for the food to digest.
I feel sick today. Can I get my knife? No, it's
Hey guys, what's up? You seem to be working for a change.
Haha, very funny. We're on the trail of coffee.
Coffee? I didn't know you guys were coffee lovers.
It's for a class assignment. Our geography teacher wanted us to pick a cash crop and describe in detail how it is processed for consumption.
I think coffee is a good idea. Everybody's crazy about coffee these days.
Yes, previously you find some old man sitting in kopitiam shop chatting away over a cup of coffee.
Not so these days. People want to see and to be seen. My cousin says that coffee is just an excuse to be out.
My mom can't drink coffee at night, neither can she drink tea, because the caffeine keeps her up.
You mean there's caffeine in tea as well?
Of course, there's tannins as well.
Do you know there's caffeine in soft drinks too? You can easily become addicted to it if you drink it continuously.
That's why water is the best, and you should drink 8 glasses a day. Our geography teacher wanted us to pick a cash crop and describe in detail how it is processed for consumption.
Cash crop, a crop that is grown for income. Processed for consumption. Processed so that it can be eaten or drunk.
Do you know there's caffeine in soft drinks too? You can easily become addicted to it if you drink it continuously.
Become addicted. Become dependent on.
I meant to ask you, any news about Lina's grandmother?
Well, I called the house and the maid answered. Says she thinks the old lady is not doing too well. Elena and her family left last night for Kuching.
I'm glad our exam is over. Otherwise, it would really affect Elena's studies.
Yeah, poor Elena. I know that she's very close to this grandma.
I didn't have any grandparents to dote on me when I was growing up. They all died except my dad's father, but he was away in India, so I don't remember him at all.
I remember my paternal grandfather very well. He used to live with us in Kota Baru. Every morning he'd prop me up on his bicycle and take me to the coffee shop for breakfast. I think I was still very young when he passed away. One day he was there, and the next day he was gone.
Here today, gone tomorrow. My mom always tells us that we should cherish our loved ones instead of waiting till they're gone, because no amount of tears can bring them back.
I didn't have any grandparents to dote on me when I was growing up. They all died except my dad's father, but he was away in India, so I don't remember him at all.
Dote on is to lavish affection.
Every morning he'd prop me up on his bicycle and take me to the coffee shop for breakfast.
Prop me on his bicycle. It means to put me on his bicycle.
I meant to ask you guys if you could spare me your old newspapers. We're doing another collection to raise funds for our year-end project.
My mom would be only too glad to get rid of them. We usually sell it to the paper Lama man, but he hasn't been around for a while.
I'll ask my mom too, but how shall I give it to you? They weigh a lot.
Well, perhaps you could bring them along to school and your mom sends you. You can drop them off at the Leo Clubhouse.
Do you want magazines? I've got some old issues of Time and National Geographic.
Hey, you're crazy. Those magazines are worth something, the National Geographic especially. You should save them for future reading.
Yes, the article and photos in there are brilliant. The magazine are collector's item.
But they take up so much space, and my dad just dumps them all out when we have a spring cleaning.
Then donate them to the school library. Didn't you see that notice asking for old resource materials for the library?
No, was there one?
Sometimes I swear you walk around with your eyes closed, Burhan. The notice was there as bold as brass on all the notice boards.
He's probably on cloud 9 dreaming of Kamaria.
Yeah, right. You're a mind reader or something?
Okay, gotta go. Don't forget the old newspapers, okay?
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.
So, you see, you have to discuss Yes, the article and photos in there are brilliant. The magazine are collector's item.
Collector's item. Something valuable that people would want to collect.
But they take up so much space, and my dad just dumps them all out when we have a spring cleaning.
Spring cleaning. Thorough cleaning of a house or a room.
Then donate them to the school library. Didn't you see that notice asking for old resource materials for the library? The notice was there as bold as brass on all the notice boards.
He's probably on cloud 9 dreaming of Kamaria.
Yeah, right. You're a mind reader or something?
Bold as brass. A simile or figure of speech where one thing is likened to another. Other examples are as clear as crystal, as fresh as a cucumber. Cloud 9 means to be very happy.
Thanks, guys. You really are friends in need. I chalked up the second biggest collection in the whole school, thanks to your contribution.
Hey, we're glad that we get rid of the junk, and it didn't cost us nothing.
What's the project about? You mentioned that you were planning something.
You know the children's home that we normally visit? Well, there's a child there suffering from leukemia and needs to go in for an operation.
That's so sad. How old is he?
Rambo is only 8 years old, but the leukemia is spreading very fast.
What's leukemia? Is it like cancer?
Yes, it's a form of blood cancer where your white blood cells eat up your red ones.
How much does the operation cost? I mean, for the child.
I'm not sure, but about 30,000 or so is my guess. Our target at our Leo club is about 5,000 ringgit. Some of the other clubs are helping out as well.
I feel bad when I hear such cases. Here I am, wishing for the latest Nike wallet or Adidas boots, and there are some kids who can't stay alive.
That's why I like being a Leo member. It lets me see that there are others suffering out there, and my wants are sometimes so frivolous. Thanks, guys. You really are friends in need. I chalked up the second biggest collection in the whole school, thanks to your contribution.
Friends in need. True friends. This comes from the saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed.
That's why I like being a Leo member. It lets me see that there are others suffering out there, and my wants are sometimes so frivolous.
Frivolous, trivial, or unimportant.
I know what you mean. My dad told me yesterday that he's cutting down my allowance. The recession is affecting everyone.
The trouble is, the more we have, the more we want. The kids at the shelter have so little by comparison, but yet they're still very happy.
I read somewhere that it's not the people who have the most that are the happiest. It's the people who make the most out of what they have.
I agree. Some of the richest people are also some of the most miserable.
Incidentally, have you finished your geography project yet? You know, the one about coffee?
Not yet. We're putting the finishing touches to it.
It's not due till next Monday. We want to go down to some of these coffee places and see if we can find some samples of the different beans.
Yeah, you get more marks if you include samples, drawing, and etc. instead of just plain text.
My aunt works at this cafe in Bangsa Shopping Center. Maybe she can help you. Do you want me to ask her?
Will you? That would be great. Some places do not have time for students and merely give you the brush off.
I'll ask her. I'm sure she'll help. She's very nice.
Do you think we could take some photograph as well? That would really add some spice to our presentation.
That may be pushing it. Most of these places fight shy of photos and they don't want you snapping away inside.
How about photos they already have? Most places have already slides of their establishment. Maybe we can get copies.
I don't have a number on me, but if you want, you can phone me back home and then we can call her.
I don't have anything on this afternoon. Do you, Chandran?
No. What say you to Jody's suggestion?
Let's go. We've got to strike while the iron's hot.
I agree. some of the richest people are also some of the most miserable.
The happiest, the richest people, the most miserable. The comparative denotes the comparison between two units. The superlative indicates the highest degree of quality between three or more units. Happy, happier, happiest. Rich, richer, richest. Miserable, more miserable, most miserable.
Not yet. We're putting the finishing touches to it.
Put the finishing touches. Put the final touches.
That may be pushing it. Most of these places fight shy of photos and they don't want you snapping away inside.
Fight shy of photos. Do not like photographs being taken. And don't forget to catch our next episode to find out if Alina's grandmother is okay. Meanwhile, be good and stay happy.